7th of October 2025. The Prime Minister has told us all on a day like today not to say anything about what Israel are doing in Gaza and Palestine. This is a sacred anniversary, and therefore we should shut up about it. Because if we do say anything about it, well, that would be really bad. Let's say something about it, shall we? Not because I want to be provocative, not because I'm not seeking peace like every decent person on this planet should, but specifically on today, I want to just highlight to you some of the stories that have come back from those people who were taken hostage in the Mediterranean, in international waters, past Cyprus, going towards Gaza. Their vessels seized, the aid on them taken. Now, I specifically want to link some of these things up with what the Nazis did, not only to the Jews, but what they did in the concentration camps in general. Now, let me say first, I am not a Holocaust denier. That is absolutely insane. I have studied the Holocaust in great detail. I will not ever deny that happened. That would be terrible. To deny that would make me inhuman. But I do say, when we say never again, should we not be saying never again for all people? Go back, if you would, for a few moments with me, just so I can recap some of these stories I've heard from those who have been released, those humanitarians, those freedom fighters who have already been released. Go back with me just a few moments to them and what they've said. I cannot remember every name, but you'll know already from videos you've seen on YouTube who they are. Some will stand out more than others. I'll tell you a lady that stands out to me, and specifically a lady. She's a woman with a lovely Scottish accent. I'll tell you something free and for nothing, really. I was getting some CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, over the phone. And there was this lady who was doing this with me, and she had the most beautiful Scottish accent. There was something in her accent, and I've heard this in many Scottish accents, that was so calm. I'm not trying to be insulting here, but it's a bit like the playing of Miss Jean Brodie. It was beautiful. Now imagine this woman, she's just come back, she's landed at wherever they sort of exported them to, wherever they repatriated them to. She's still got her kefir on, and here's part of the story she tells, and others verify it. Now I want you to bear in mind those concentration camps didn't just gas 6 million Jews, gassed homosexuals, political prisoners, the sick, the disabled, antisocials, gay, lesbian, transsexual. They gassed and killed all of those as well. So bear that in mind, okay? When they had got them within the confines of the camp, they'd got them off the train. They sent them to a place where they had to undress. And I'm sure most of you know that for many of them, that was the sort of antechamber to the gas chamber. Yeah. Now here's something which I think perfectly ties up. The women in particular, although all were made to strip naked, the women in particular were ogled by SS guards. Some were even sexually molested by SS guards. Some were sexually assaulted. And these SS guards mainly were male. I'm not saying women didn't exist there in the camps. There are some very brutal female SS guards like Dorothea Binns, who was hanged, and others who were hanged. Damn right they should have been. But these women in particular, and the men, were made to surrender all of their clothes. Yeah. And when this particular woman was talking, she'd taken everything off, I imagine, including her keffiyeh as well. She said a door was then opened, and standing on the other side of that door was an Israeli uniformed male who looked her up and down. Can you not see? Can you not see the parallel with what was happening there? Not only did they want to capture these humanitarian volunteers kidnapped in international waters, while their own governments did nothing, while Mr. Starmer, who was telling us we shouldn't do anything on October the 7th, while Mr. Starmer said, really what happened during their captivity is a matter for the Israelis. I can't intervene. Look how they were treated. Look at the brutality that was used on them. Look how that woman and others were actually humiliated, as well as being intimidated, woken up by muzzled, barking dogs, having guns pointed directly at them, being deprived of clean water, edible food, and put under extreme psychological pressure. Think back to the Nazis, right? Just think back. Now, finally, and you've got to end on something positive. After showing what those humanitarian volunteers were subjected to, you have to end on something positive. And I say this on behalf of all of them, for all of them. Greta Thunberg, the names I can remember, that wonderful Scottish lady, the ones who've come back to other countries, the ones who've even returned to the United States of America. I say this for all of you, and I want you to share this video everywhere. You felt, and that woman acknowledged, she was frightened. She felt intimidated. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't feel that way? But she didn't let her captors see it. That's a winner. An absolute winner. Yeah? They win. She wins. The humanitarians win. They win. I am so grateful that many of these people were not shot. One of the other things many of them said when they arrived back, when they had been released, mostly the Israelis and whatever still had all of their belongings, even personal belongings. They were just released in sort of prison clothes, if you like, and they probably still had their boats as well. But when they released, they said another really important thing. It was this: were it not for you following us and publicizing this all over the world through any kind of media or platform or social media that you could, over the entire world, they believe they would have been killed, or they would have just disappeared into some prison in the Negev, never to be seen again. Whatever. Humanity, and we're still coming. There's another flotilla on the way. Humanity, we can do it just through being decent, human, compassionate, and full of love and even kindness. Stay strong, people. Free Palestine, now and forever.